Hey everybody, this is Ray Goots. Welcome to Goots Disney Pod. Fortunately, we don't have a new episode today. Brian Campbell supposed to do Clone Wars, but instead of that, I'm going to give you a best of the 2000s. Just a couple of brief clips of some of my favorite moments from the episodes about the movies from the years 2000 to 2010. Maybe it's only going to be like a little bit. Sorry for the two best ofs this month, but it's hard to schedule with comics. But next week we are going to be back with Jonas Barnes doing the Clone Wars. Thank you. We'll see you then. Enjoy the best of the monsters in the closet motif. With so many kids are scared of the monster in the closet, and they incorporate it into like this big giant sprawling storyline about energy and the city and corporations and corruption. I think it's just a brilliantly made film.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
For those of you that
I
haven't
like
seen
how in the beginning, we discover within like 5 minutes, we find out that the monsters need screams from the children for energy.
Yes.
And then how the monsters are actually more afraid of the children than they think that if the child touches the monster that they die.
Yes, that was key, because I think if they made it that the monsters were not scared of the children, they're like just using them.
Right.
The whole
I thought
movie
that was
falls
a really
apart.
genius thing about it. Yeah.
Because once you establish that the monster's scared of the children, it takes away a lot of the ferocity of the monsters. It makes them more relatable and human. And it makes them, what they're doing, more noble than being selfish. Because essentially, they're free. They're scarring children for life. I'm sure many of these children became drug addicts and prostitutes 20 years later because of the being scared by monsters. But at least it was for a noble cause. They're trying to help out the city,
Yeah.
So just a quick do
you have a favorite scene? Do you have a favorite scene?
Yeah, my favorite scene would have to be the scene where he thinks Boo got eaten by the machine.
Oh, very scary. Oh, yeah.
Where
yes.
He thinks she's getting chopped up.
And he's looking at the different chopping things.
Yes. And it's fun. It's funny because they've never implied that they're gonna mangle and just disembowel a child in a Disney film, and then you're watching a Disney character thinking he's watching a child get basically, torn to shreds, and watching his reaction is so funny. And then when and that's the moment you realize he actually cares.
It's really
for her.
Funny.
It's a funny moment, and you also realize, he actually does care for this little girl. And he realizes he cares for the girl. But that's my favorite moment. The facial expressions on Sully are so fucking awesome.
Did you like Billy Crystal's stand-up at the end?
Yes, I love the fact. Yes, but you know what? It would have been better if you know what? I thought it would have been funnier if one of the characters did do stand-up to get the children screams. Like, he's such a bad comedian.
Right.
Screams, stop it! You get the scream from that. I did like the fact that he does stand-up. So basically, they find out that a child's laughter, can also power the machines, and it's better.
Way more so. Yeah.
It's healthier power. So they eventually, after they have to fight Steve Buscemi, which I thought's another thing. I really like the action sequence with the doors and the portals. It's very creative, but they then become basically stand-up comedians. They make kids laugh. They go through the doors and make kids laugh, and now all the kids are well adjusted. And Donald Trump was not elected president in that timeline because everyone's well adjusted.
I just hadn't watched a kid's cartoon like that in a long time, so I'm just like, whoa. I'm like, the captain, her waist was like nothing, like 3 inches, like they went all the way in, and then her legs are as long as can be, and she's wearing stilettos with thigh-high like boots with a heel that go up to her mid-thigh. Like, yeah, you just wanted to keep the dad's attention, I guess, in the middle of the film.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was saying, have you ever seen Incredibles?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Elastigirl has an insane ass, and then I finally watched. I was watching these special features of that, and Brad Bird basically said that's on purpose, that she has an ass like that.
It must be. I mean, what are you drawing it? I mean, there's some, and Disney has to approve it, so you gotta push that through.
It's not like someone's sitting there like, oh my god, I just drew an amazing ass on this cartoon character. Oh, I was just like thinking about lunch. And like, no, you fucking sat there and like you probably had a picture of a girl on the internet. And you're like, oh, okay.
It was interesting that I was watching with children, so I was kind of like, is that really necessary to make her that sexualized? I mean, this, this little boy's 9. Do we really, And the best part is not till the end where she is together with the older, I guess,
David Hyde Pierce.
Like you said. Yeah, and like their faces right next to each other. I'm like, is she a cat? And
she's a cat.
Dog. And he's a dog. It never even dawned on me.
It was weird that they had kids, and I'm like, well, how did that work?
Yes, that's what like. So it was strangely, since I hadn't watched the kids' animation thing in a while, it's just interesting what they do to show that they're into each other, like the little flirty comments they would make, and then just the knowing look. And I'm sitting there, when she gave him the knowing look, that means they're boning. That's the bone look. That's and then of course they had babies the next.
They had like 5 babies, so they had a lot of sex. They were having sex all night long. Like it's,
right.
So I never saw.
Go ahead.
No, I never saw this movie. It kind of bombed when it came out. It came out in 2002. I was 21. Where were you? It just came out the winter of 2002. What were you doing the winter of 2002?
2002. I was doing stand-up in 2002.
In Ohio.
In Ohio, of all places.
And nobody really talked about this movie in the stand-up circuit.
Well, I was thinking about that. Like, being messing around the industry for almost 20 years, I usually know about or hear about, and this was right as I was getting started, so I was surprised that I'd never heard this film.
It kind of bombed, and right now, like, this is where the Pixar would have a movie one year, Disney would have a movie the other year. And Pixar, they didn't own Pixar yet, but Pixar is like so outclassing them because they made this movie around the same time frame as Finding Nemo. And I finally saw Finding Nemo. And that is a movie. That's a movie.
Yeah. I saw Nemo. I even saw Nemo and enjoyed Nemo.
Yeah, Nemo is, and then this thing I like. Now there's things about this movie I really like. I like the complicated relationship between the pirate. I had the Wikipedia page. I should know the character's name. Sorry. What the fuck was the pirate's name? And this is a famous pirate name too. John Silver, Long John Silver. Okay.
Yeah, John Silver. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jim Hawkins. I like that relationship a lot because it wasn't
like a father-son.
But it was also kind of like you know what it feels? It feels more like a shitty older comic, younger comic.
Yes, where they're helping, but now I'm gonna shit on you and fuck you over.
Yeah. Like I'll help you, but if you get to the Tonight Show, I'm not gonna speak to you ever again. Like that type of relationship. Which I kind of like that he didn't just automatically just like be the kid's best friend.
Yeah,
which kind of made it like more realistic. But I like that, and I like the little musical montage, even though it had a Goo Goo Dolls song, where he's learning to like the kid.
That was the montage where they started doing, and it's the Goo Goo Dolls.
And he's thinking back to how his dad just fucking leaves him. I don't know what that mom did, but the dad he leaves in the middle of the day. He's like, I'm going. Doesn't even say goodbye to the kid. I want to know what the mom did to piss the dad off that bad.
It kind of feels realistic, though. It's just like, that could happen. And we don't need to know the
I'm just done with you. But like the dad doesn't say goodbye, and the dad most time you hear stories where the dad lie. In real life, a father will lie to the family and then just vanish. This guy was like very clear, like, no, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. You two are assholes. Fuck off. Goodbye, Jim. And just got on a ship and never.
Yeah. It was kind of the interesting Disney slant. Like, we're going to do the single mom thing, and that. But I took note of that in the movie because, first of all, it's like a montage with like a rocker singing over. So like, okay, this is a little different. But that's when my little nephew's 9. He just goes, "This is a really good movie." Oh, okay. Somehow he connected to whatever was in that montage.
I think that song in that montage, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, it's so weird to watch a Disney movie.
To me, that montage is kind of like the first time that movie actually has like emotion. Before that, I'm like just going through the motions. Like I don't really know anything about this fucking kid. And then like you finally get, this kid's upset because of his dad, and at least this creepy old man is being kind of nice to him. Yeah. And so it's like you finally get to know these characters through that song, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nuanced movie. I was kind of having to stay awake to kind of get they're on another planet. The new introduction of what was that? Who's the C-3PO character?
Oh, the robot Martin Short.
Yeah, yeah. We're just going to introduce him for the last third of the movie, which I kind of felt was a Jar Jar Binks type of character.
Yeah, he was like
Disney films.
Well. Jeffrey Epstein. Shit, not Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Katzberg. Yeah. He made a decree that there need to be some comedian in every movie, starting with Buddy Hackett, who was in Little Mermaid. So if you go back and look, every movie they shove a stand-up comic in there, because it worked really well with Robin Williams. But Rosie's in Tarzan, which ruins the movie. What other comics are in? Shit. David Spade is in Emperor's New Groove. And so I think they were like, now Martin Short. But some of the comedians work, like Eddie Murphy worked in Mulan, and Robin Williams, Aladdin, enough said. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. That was good.
And you had Gilbert in Aladdin, which was also great. But this movie with Martin Short was like, I don't know if you need it. I don't know. This is kind of like taking away.
It felt a little, it did feel a little, well, whatever. I mean,
he comes in so late. You're like, well, this is kind of like a serious movie, and now this guy is like doing goofy jokes, and it's like,
it could have been maybe if he was all the way through in the levity, but I felt like they kept trying to find the levity per thing. I mean, my little niece laughed out loud at the fart machine.
The fart alien was pretty good. That was kind of like really raunchy for Disney.
for Disney. I was surprised. I mean, it's everything I can do to keep these kids from farting on each other all day. I mean, that's their thing. At 7 to 9, farting is their favorite thing. I mean, my little niece just farted in the car the other day when I'm watching that, and I had to get out of the car.
Jesus Christ.
They just love farting. And it's
what do you think of the movie? Matilda, say something. She's shy for the podcast, Matilda.
Matilda was cursing out Ellen the whole movie. She couldn't stop. I wanted more of the aquarium.
Yeah, there's a Finding Nemo game.
There is? Oh, did you have it?
I played it. But I feel like all those Pixar movies, they made a video game
They did for a while, then they stopped. Now they make mobile games.
Okay.
Because there's more money in that, because they have those in-app purchases. So these
and also kids are like, everyone's on the go these days. No one's staying home playing video games.
Yeah, I kind of miss who'd you play in the Finding Nemo game?
Marlin.
What did you fight people, or did you?
Nah, it's a lot of like escape type stuff. Like the jellyfish, that was a level. The turtles were a level. Just different levels.
Did you
and
fight
stuff.
the turtles?
No, you gotta like go with them, but you can't get hit by like rocks and some bullshit like that.
I'm looking up the game right now.
Okay, I believe it was for PlayStation.
It was for
PS2,
GameCube, Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 2, and Xbox.
Yeah, it was for all of them.
Didn't get good reviews.
No, it wasn't a great game, but a lot of those Pixar games weren't good.
But holy shit!
What?
The Game Boy Advance version sold 1.2 million copies.
Wow, that's a lot.
Because parents would buy it for their kids.
Yeah, parents love to buy their kids stupid shit.
Well, the Disney games used to be good. Like, when I was growing up, the 90s games like Aladdin, not Lion King, fuck that. Aladdin, DuckTales, Darkwing Duck.
Why don't you like Lion King?
The game.
Oh, okay.
You ever played that?
No.
It's fucking brutal.
Bad.
It's so hard that if a kid, like 5 or 6, beat that game, the government should hire that kid to work on COVID.
A Bug's Life was a great game.
Oh, yeah, that was on N64, right?
A Bug's Life is my favorite Pixar film.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I had Marco Godana cover that. That's weird because they like kind of bury Bug's Life. Have you noticed that?
Well, they didn't do a sequel, which is crazy. It was so popular. It was one of the most popular Pixar films.
And they don't even like celebrate. They don't talk about it. There's like
the characters don't get any recognition. Do you even know the characters' names? There was Flick.
I didn't know the names because
They used to have books. They used to have picture books of A Bug's Life, and they used to sell them at the supermarket by my house, and I used to get them.
I think they rushed Bug's Life to beat Ants. Do you remember Ants came out the same year?
Yeah, I didn't like Ants. No, it wasn't the sequel to Bug's Life.
No, they rushed Bugs Life. They were.
Bugs Life.
No, what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
the Disney head was
Bug-
like, we need this to beat Ants to the theaters.
Bugs Life was Disney and Ants was DreamWorks, right?
Yes, and Ants was the first DreamWorks film.
Although I've heard more people say Ants was better. They liked Ants more.
I bought Ants for $5. I gotta watch it. But what happened was. What happened
the
was.
same film. It's the same fucking
Oh really?
film.
I got it.
It's just about ants.
But so this is what's so insane. So Disney didn't really publicly announce they were making Bugs Life.
Really? Because they didn't want ants
They
to come
had because it was Jeffrey Katzberger, and he had a bad exit from Disney when he formed DreamWorks.
Yeah.
He got word they're making a Bug movie, and he was like, "Fuck that! We're making a Bug movie." And we got Woody Allen, and they got Stallone. Stallone was in it.
In Ants.
In Ants. So they announced to DreamWorks the date, and Disney was like, "Fuck you! We're gonna have it out the same fucking month." So they told these guys to rush Bugs Life. So I feel like the guys in Pixar aren't big fans of Bugs Life because they couldn't take their time with it.
Did Woody Allen's character in Ants fuck the younger ants? Is that?
I don't know. I've never seen it. I heard it's a weird movie.
Yeah,
Ants.
it's about ants. I mean,
Woody Allen raises a little Asian ant and then marries it at the end of the movie.
Thanks for helping my joke.
Did you ever see the Bee movie?
Yeah, me and Joey Rinaldi, another comic, watched part of it last night. Actually,
That's like the biggest memed movie of all time. Now.
Why?
Because it's such a weird movie. It's about a bee being in love with a woman.
We watched Moneyball, but we had ordered food, so we're like, until the food gets here, watch Bee movie.
Where'd you watch? What service is it on?
I don't even know what we watched it on. One of those services that you
I
get.
should have Joey Rinaldi on the podcast.
Yeah, he loves movies. He would definitely do it.
I should have him on for Cars or something.
Yeah, I never saw Cars. Oh, can we talk about the Pixar Theory we were talking about earlier? That's really interesting.
Yeah, well, I'll look that up. So
I thought you knew about it already.
I know, but I read all about it, and then I just want to clarify. I don't want to just start making up shit. Like, I think that
Yeah.
Woody fucked Nemo, and that's why the animals.
Wow, that'd be weird.
Woody
Woody fuck Nemo? That'd be
I guarantee
traumatic.
there's fan fiction about that.
There's a lot of fan fiction out there, guys. You ever write fan fiction? It's fun.
No, I want to write like I. You know what I would do for a hobby? I should do that now that we're not doing shows.
Yeah.
Write like the most disturbing fan fiction I could possibly think of. And what's the most disturbing like hookup fan fiction you can think
Well,
of?
for some reason, and I'll get to that. I'll get to what you just said in a second. But for some reason, like when you think fan fiction, like erotic fan fiction is what comes to mind. But there actually is a lot of regular. It actually started as regular fan fiction.
I have no interest in like a like if somebody like if some like I don't know like if somebody like if Joey Rinaldi walked up and he goes, "Yeah, I just wrote a 500-page Transformers story," I would literally blow my brains out rather than read it. But if he said to me, "I wrote a story about Optimus Prime Megatron having gay sex," and it's a parody of Brokeback Mountain, that I might read.
Yeah, you got to get weird. You got to get obscure.
I would do the one I would probably write to freak everybody out is I would have King Triton and Ariel have an affair.
Isn't that her dad?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So there's a huge the cartoon The Loud House is popular. You know why it's popular?
No.
Because everyone ships. It's about a kid living with a house full of sisters.
Yeah.
And the fan base. See, adults have really taken over the cartoon fan base, and I think they've ruined it.
How so? What do you mean?
Like adults, literally, like. So okay. So when I was a kid, I liked Tiny Toon Adventures.
Okay.
I didn't think about the characters fucking. I didn't think about the characters like hooking up. I just enjoyed the show for what it was.
Yeah.
But now there's all these adults who watch My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, Steven Universe, Loud House, and all they do is write erotic fan fiction and stuff about these cartoons. And I think when kids Google it, they see that, and then they become weirdos too.
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing about Loud House is it's about this kid who lives he's the only boy, and he lives in a house filled with girls. And there's no dad, and it's his mom. And the whole fan base ships him with every sister.
Okay.
So they all want him to fuck a different sister of his.
Okay.
And that's all.
I'm on board so far.
You're on board with him fucking his sisters?
Yeah, so far.
All right. And I don't know if they ship him with the mom, but... okay, the Pixar Theory.
This is fascinating.
All the
and
movies
I
are
watched this.
connected.
I learned about this a couple years back.
Yeah.
But maybe you could explain it a little bit better.
So I'm on the website. The guy has a website. And it all starts with Brave.
Brave, I never saw.
Oh,
don't really know anything about it, to be honest. Can you get into Brave?
It's about I don't want to spoil the twist, but it's about this girl. She makes a wish that she kind of wants her mom is very overprotective, kind of like
Rapunzel.
No, kind of like Marlin is to Nemo.
Oh, okay.
She makes a wish to get her mom off her back, and her mom turns into a bear, and then the whole kingdom thinks, and including her dad thinks it's this bear that like has terrorized the kingdom, so they all go hunting it.
Yeah.
And she has to protect her mom, but the longer the spell lasts, the more the mom is going to turn into a bear,
Okay.
like a full bear, like just like not like her mom.
That's a great bear impression. Can you do that again? Great. Fantastic.
So, so she
Where
gets,
did you learn how to do such a good bear impression? I can't
from
believe
Creek in the
it.
Cave. They had a bear impression seminar.
And
You know, my career was launched at the Creek in the Cave, as
yeah,
was
rest
every
in peace.
single.
I'm so sad it's gone.
So many people, like I just searched on Twitter Creek in the Cave, and there were so many people that were like, my career started at Creek in the Cave, or Creek in the Cave is a magical place, and I'm like,
It really is. It really it is something special.
But my
about
thing
it.
was, I was like, I don't know who the fuck any of these people are. I've never seen them on a single show. And like one guy was going on, and I think
Well, it's probably me.
23,000 followers, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? I've never seen you do comedy. Where are you doing comedy? My backyard?
Well, a lot of followers doesn't always mean you're necessarily good. That means you spend a lot of time on social media.
That's true. All right, so the witch. Remember the witch who grants. Oh, you didn't see the one. Go remember. You didn't see this fucking thing. The witch who grants Mierda her wish about the mom. She uses wooden doors to vanish, and the theory is she's Boo from Monsters Inc.
The witch.
Yes,
Is the horse, yeah. But I just want to know the meeting they have with Roseanne. I would feel so nervous to pitch this to someone like Roseanne. Well, not now because she needs the money. I think that right now she'd do porn with the way her career felt. But back then, I'd be like, hey, we want to have a meeting with you at Disney. And she's probably going in and be like, they probably want to give me a new sitcom or something. And it's like, we'd like you to play a cow.
The head cow.
The
And
head-
the biggest cow.
You're the biggest cow. And we're going to constantly mention how fat you are in the whole movie.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what she had going on. It's just weird because like I feel like there were so many other opportunities going on in like 2004. You know, for films like
Mm-hmm.
this apparently was the last 2D film that.
Yes,
Disney
it was. This did really bad. So this cost $100 million to make. I don't know what was the money on catering, because this movie looks like
yeah.
this looks like they made this in 1982. But-
Yeah.
But yeah, the budget and it only made 145 million. So that's not really a profit to a company like Disney. And this same summer, this came out in April, and in May of that same year was Shrek 2, which I think is the best Shrek movie. I don't know. Have you seen all the Shreks?
Yes.
Okay. Which one was your favorite?
I think the first one would probably be my favorite.
I don't like the first one.
No?
No, I don't find it. I find part 2 funny. I don't find that one funny.
Yeah. I feel like
maybe-
that's like the best, you know, because it sets like the whole story and.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I knew the twist that she was an ogre. I think that helps it when you don't know the twist.
Right.
That
Yeah,
Cameron Diaz. I hope you didn't spoil this for anyone who never saw Shrek. And just-
Sorry. What year did the Shrek original come out? 2000?
2001. Do you remember? I remember seeing the poster. I don't know how you felt, but I remember seeing the poster for Shrek, and I was like, how is that animation that looks like live action?
Yeah.
Like it was
I
that.
don't remember. I
You
don't
don't remember?
remember. Yeah.
I remember when the first Shrek images came out, I was like blown away. But Shrek 2 is such like that movie still holds up. It was very contemporary back
Yeah.
then. Like they did Simon Cowell was in it. That was crazy.
He's in the first one, right?
No, he's in Shrek 2 because they do like
Okay.
fairy tale. Yeah.
But
But like that
Right?
what'd you say?
Shrek is Pixar or DreamWorks?
DreamWorks.
Right.
So it's just so Shrek was the first time another company really like fucked up Disney, and Disney was kind of like really, and they didn't own Pixar at the time. They just so Pixar could have just been like fuck you and went to another studio. So for them to think like, oh, Shrek 2's coming out. Well, you know what? We're gonna do Home of the fucking Rage, kick their ass.
Apparently, the movie was pitched like a bunch of years prior, so they probably just were like, what do we have? What do we have? Do we have anything? Did any other Disney movies come out that year?
Incredibles, but that was a Pixar movie. And then they put out this film. They put out a couple live action films. I think they put out like one of the Lindsay Lohan ones before she became a crackhead. I think like Love. Loaded. Yeah, I think the Herbie. Yeah, Herbie Fully Loaded. Yeah. Back when she was still like, I don't sound like a pervert, but really hot. I mean, she was really hot, and then she wasn't.
No, I know the meth like kicks on.
The meth kicked.
Yeah, Cuba Gooding Jr. was the horse, so he definitely. I think he definitely stole the show, a little bit.
He was your favorite character?
What?
Was he your favorite character in this?
Yeah, I would say so. It was so nice seeing him like as a horse and not like as an actor sexually harassing women. Yeah.
He hooked up with a comedian we both know. I don't want to say her name because it's on the podcast. But she went to the cellar just to like get a drink, and he was there, and she said hi, and then he wouldn't leave her alone. And she didn't care. Because whatever, but then they hooked up. Yeah.
I've been thinking about him recently, and I had this old memory, like this rumor of him threatening his way to the Jerry Maguire part. But apparently nobody else remembers this. So I don't know. I don't know if some kid like in the playground just said it out loud, and I thought it was like real.
I think I think the story, I have to look it up, but I think the story is like he cornered the director and screamed "Show me the money" at him over and over again.
Okay.
Or something. I think he did. He definitely fought really hard to get the role. I mean, it paid off. He got an Oscar. So.
Yeah. Did he get the Oscar?
Yeah, he got the Oscar. I remember because his acceptance speech was him just yelling, and then he probably.
Okay. I remember now.
Probably grabbed some girl's ass and did coke. Yeah. Remember, real quick, off topic. Remember when we met Brendan Fraser? That was cool.
Yes, I always tell that story.
Yeah,
that was a great story. He was leaving. He was going to leave with some girl he was dating, and I saw him in the lobby of Caroline's, and we're talking. So I had a few, and I said I love you in Biodome, and he was like, I wasn't in Biodome, or. Yeah, that's the one he wasn't in, right?
He wasn't in Biodome.
Yeah, I still fuck it up. So I don't know if I could curse.
But then you said Encino Man, and he was in.
Yeah. So and he's like, what? So I think when you make such a ass out of yourself, you're remembered. So he was that like, picture. Come back in and watch your set.
And he was laughing. He liked your set a lot.
Yeah. No, he came back out and told me I was good, and he told me I was a sick bitch.
Yes, I remember. I heard him say that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, he's a really nice guy, though. Really nice guy.
I know. Hopefully he's listening to this.
Yeah, I think he's definitely listening.
He's got nothing else to do. So let me just go through the plot of the movie, because I feel like there's no one has heard of this movie, and we're just kind of talking about like everyone knows what movie we're talking about. But the movie is about this poor farmer. He loses his ranch, and we never see this farmer again. I guess this guy goes off and kills himself.
Yeah, I think that's gotta be what happened. I was looking out for him, actually.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to see more of that guy, but like, just like, no, too bad. But Maggie is his prize cow, only cow left on the Dixon Ranch. So he sells it to Pearl, who has a nice little farm called Patch of Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And she shows up in the farm, and she starts acting like an asshole, like Roseanne usually does, like just barking orders. And then like 2 minutes later, so this woman buys a cow and is like, whatever, everything's fine. 2 minutes later, the sheriff just shows up and is basically like, oh, now your farm is going to be the bank is cranking down. You have 3 days to pay the bank $750, which isn't that bad, or they're going to sell the farm. So she's screwed. I don't know why she's taking more animals when she owes all that money. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's in the late 1800s, so that's what, like $20,000 probably.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of the anyway. That's going to happen to a lot of our neighbors with the corona, with the evictions coming up. So then Maggie goes to the cows and is like, we need to go win the prize money at a fair. And there's a bounty hunter named Rico. He's in town. And He's gonna go after Alabama Slim. He's the guy he's a cattle rustler.
Right.
And so the cows go to the town and they disguise as showgirls.
Yeah, they get kind of lost. They think they're going into the sheriff's office, but they really go into a saloon. And there's more like fat women, doing like burlesque dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cows like somehow get backstage, and someone yells, "Get those cows off the stage!" And all the women are like, but so then they like wrestle and stuff, and that's when the guy jumps into the other guy's arms, and his wig falls off, and he's like, "Daddy."
Yeah, a lot of weird. Well, what about there was one guy? So they kicked the cows out. It's very clear they're cows. Nobody acknowledges that these cows got dressed up in showgirl outfits. But there was one guy. There's one like little old man that like tries to chase after the cows, I guess, to rape them, and like he gets stopped. He's like, I just love them cows, which I was so. They come across Alabama Slim, who's played by Randy Quaid, and he does this yodeling thing, which puts them in a trance, kind of like Bill Cosby's. That was weird too. The yodeling thing, where the colors came. Did you think that was weird too?
Randy Quaid yodeling?
Yeah, I don't know if that was Randy. I think they got a professional yodeler.
Because if that's Randy Quaid, then he's clearly the most talented person in this movie.
Well, I mean, then I don't know why he's not just doing yodeling competitions to pay for his Canadian citizenship. I don't know what he's. I think this is the movie that broke him. By the way, I really do.
Yeah, that's the way.
So the cows and the horse, they team up to like stop the cattle rustler. There's a big fight on a minecart. Also, the cattle rustler has these two stupid like twins that help him.
Now there's a lot. Those characters with the covered eyes.
Yes,
those are like recurring Disney characters.
They are.
Just not like them exactly, but where they cover the eyes. That's like an old school thing. I didn't like have a chance, but was it?
Yeah, like no, that's true. They are another movie stars. Yeah, they are. So like it's a similar design.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a big confrontation in the mines. They defeat Alabama Slims. They pay the money for the farm. I'm skipping over some things. There's a really sad Katie Lang song at some point.
Yeah. The music was pretty depressing.
The music is pretty depressing. The music is like country, but not like even contemporary country. Like Cars has contemporary country music, which is like stuff that you and your kid can listen to if you're not into country. This is just like shit from the 40s.
Sounded like Reba McEntire a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think she does have one song.
Really? Oh,
yeah. And Tim McGraw, because I looked up because I always put a cover version of a song from one of these movies to start the podcast. But Katie Lang does the really depressing song in the middle.
Okay.
This movie to me, like, I really felt like this was like, even though the humor they tried to make the humor like really dirty and contemporary. There's a lot of fart jokes, right?
Yeah.
It still felt really old fashioned, like the art design. It felt like something that was made in the 40s.
Yeah, especially just like the background and like there was no real detail in the background, and like when the characters would move, backgrounds would just seem like a picture. Like it just seemed like a old fashioned animation. Yeah, and like not in a good way. Like it just felt like very like this is really out of touch for what's going on in the world back then. Even nowadays it'd be out of touch, but like back then it's like, it's like, guys, is this really your best? You're fucking Disney. Is this really the best you got? And I think it's just especially weird because there were so many famous people in this movie. Like that's besides Roseanne's food budget, I think that's where all the money was allocated to.
She had to stay in character.
It wasn't towards the animation.
No, it didn't. Yeah, like I don't see how, like, unless they paid the animators $1 million a day to fucking come in.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of, I can't see, like, some of the movies, like Hunchback of Notre Dame, you can kind of see where they put the computer. Like, there's so many complicated shots and things like Tarzan or Hunchback or Beauty and the Beast even. And those are 2D movies, but you could see, like, the complicated shots. This movie has none of that.
Yeah, this is, like, there's one scene with the clouds. It just looks like someone took, like, a sponge and was just, like, like second grade artwork, you know?
Yeah, really, really. Did your kids get a walk in the room when you were watching this, or no?
No,
No. Do you think your kids would like this, or not at all?
absolutely
Like, they would be offended that you.
not. Yeah. I don't even think my 3-year-old nephew, like even the cartoons nowadays, they're so like vibrant, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I watched. I was because after this season I'm gonna do Pixar, so I was watching Finding Dory yesterday, and it's just amazing the shit they do. Like just just with the and they're just fishes, but they look so realistic. Yeah.
Looks so real, yeah.
Oh man, so you would not recommend showing this to any children?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's just hard, like with the kids nowadays. They're like, I guess their bar is set so high that they can't.
But
Like,
I kind of feel like the bar was set high in 2004, even like.
yeah, well, it's probably why I guess none of us saw it back then, right?